Again with Peter Jennings from Strategic Analysis Australia, joining us live from Canberra. Peter, gee, you've been busy the last few days. Let me pick your brains again. What happens next? What is your biggest concern about a possible Iranian response?
Well, I guess it comes down to, Chris, how much capacity the regime has got to undertake responses. It's rapidly losing its ability to launch missiles against Israel. So I think the key question is, what connections does it have with its network of proxy groups? Is it able, for example, to mobilise the Houthis to go and interrupt shipping in the Red Sea? Can it engage its networks in Iraq to attack American military bases and infrastructure? It's just not clear to me at this stage how much command and control capacity the regime has got left, because Israel did such an effective job of destroying that in the first 10 days of the campaign. But I think that's what we've got to watch for, is will they now try and take this international using their proxy groups, and how much control do they still have over those people?
Now, when we look to terrorism, the alert in the US isn't really an escalation. It's more a reminder, I suppose, of the terror alert. We haven't increased the terror alert in Australia, although it's at probable, I think, from recollection. How worried should we be about terrorism, not just in the Middle East, but around the world?
I think there's always a concern when you have these international events that there's the risk of copycat behaviour, which might have a number of lone wolf people acting in their own capacity, not necessarily being directed by the Iranian state in any way, but that's always a risk. And then, we can't discount the fact that Iran has, over decades, run terrorist activities internationally through Hezbollah and other places, and has been responsible for terrorist acts, including in Latin America. So it's not impossible that can be brought to bear again. I think we have to take it seriously, and I have no doubt that our intelligence agencies would be looking at this very closely, Chris, even as we speak.
This is where I want to bring you back to Iraq, right? Now, while countries like Saudi Arabia have condemned the American action, they kind of have to go through that pro forma process, don't they? I would have thought secretly all that Sunni Arab world will be very, very pleased that Iran is looking like getting boxed in. But where does Iran lie up with it? With the Shia militias there, the Shia control there, old enmities, of course, with Iran in the Saddam Hussein days. But is Iran's response to what's unfolding here going to be pivotal?
I think more the potential role of those militia groups, which are still more under the control of Tehran, rather than anything that Iraq does itself. Mm-hmm. My sense is that Iraq has been relatively quiet in the last 18 months or so, whilst Israel has been damaging the proxy groups in Gaza, damaging Hezbollah in Lebanon, and then doing significant work in Syria to damage the interests of Hezbollah and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. What's been going on in Iraq? And of course, that's the place where we still have a significant number of American military forces based, particularly around in the Kurdish area and on the Turkish border.
But that's why it could be the flashpoint, right?
Chris? Yes, exactly. There is a risk, and I think Iraq is where I would be looking to see maybe, if something happens by way of proxy group behaviour, maybe that's where it will take place.
Yeah, let's hope not. But just briefly, you've written extensively about this, but now that you've seen the Albanese Labor government offer some wishy-washy support to the US, what do you think's gone on there? Is a conversion on the road to Damascus, or have they been pulled into line by Washington?
Well, it seemed to me that the Foreign Minister and Prime Minister looked extremely uncomfortable and not particularly wishing to front the media today, Chris, in coming out with their support. I think their foreign policy has been shockingly amateurish here, and it's failed to take account of the fact that we've got an important alliance with the United States and need some very significant things from the Americans in order for AUKUS to work and for our security to continue to be underwritten in the Asia Pacific. And yet we've had this casual disregard of the Trump administration. Something has now happened, I think, to bring that reality home to the government. It'll be very interesting to see how the Americans choose to play this out, publicly or privately, in coming days.
Indeed. Thanks so much for joining us again, Peter. Really appreciate your insights.